All right. For those who don't know, this is Sharon, Herman, Payne, our group's kind and wonderful certified low vision therapist. Yes, you are. You did a wonderful presentation for us again, so we have high expectations for this one. What a way to start, huh? So Sharon, go ahead. Tell us, what are you going to tell us? What are you going to talk to us about today?
So good afternoon, everybody. For the record, I am a certified orientation and mobility specialist and a certified low vision therapist. And those degrees have brought me very far in the last 35 years of teaching. I have with me today, Diane.
Hi, I'm Diane Ducharme.
Whose background is?
And I am a certified rehabilitation counselor.
Who also teaches and works
with people who are blind and low vision.
Okay. And raises 2 teenagers.
Well, yeah, one's a teenager and one's 21.
Okay. Congratulations. There you go. There you go. So we are here to try to answer your questions from the lowest to the highest technology. The last program, if you missed it, was bigger, brighter, and bolder, or bigger, bolder, and brighter, depending on how people phrase it. It all works. The idea is, how do we get access to print a whole bunch of different ways, and how do we access other kinds of information? Today, we're going to focus mostly on accessing a variety of kinds of prints, first using low tech and then using high tech. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and we will try to address them if I don't address them in all the things that I am saying. It occurs to me, Linda, that maybe what we were going to need to do is do something on games and activities and hobbies as well. So starting at the, because I started taking things from my mobile office, meaning the trunk of my car, out, and I thought, you know what, there's just too many things to bring in. So we're going to stick with mostly the print today, although if you have other questions, we'll try to find time to answer those. Starting at the very, very beginning, macular degeneration or any other eye disease can cause a problem with glare, too much or the wrong kind of lighting. So one of the first things that a low vision specialist will work with you on might be a way of blocking that glare. And you might think it's funny to see people wearing sunglasses inside, or you might do that yourself and say, yeah, that's a big help. If you only have sunglasses from the store or sunglasses from after cataract surgery, they might be too light or too dark. And we look at different filters, which was what we call the coloring of the sunglasses, to make sure that they protect from lighting on the sides, the top, and in front. We want to make sure that we have a good color, and that might be yellow, might be amber, might be blue-gray, might be green. There are some eye diseases where pinks and yellows and purples are even better. Some people like bright red. So the color can make a huge difference in how paper appears to us, and the glare, the reflected light, gets into our eyes and bothers us or doesn't bother us. Non-reflective coating on your glasses can also be helpful. Again, it really, really depends on the individual. So what we're going to do is start with some real basics today, and then we're going to move up to the high tech, and we're going to answer questions as we go along. So one of the first things that sometimes gets difficult, and this is the lowest of the low tech, is a telephone. Because sometimes we can't see our phone anymore. And so how can we access this? We can access this with either brighter and bolder print. You might see I'm trying to see where my camera gets this. All right. The numbers on this handset are large, and these are by far not the largest numbers that you can find. You can find phones that have a talking caller ID. And so you can find out who's calling. If you look at that little gray screen and it says a number, 1-800 whatever, the talking phones will actually say that out loud. This is when I miss Radio Shack. Because you used to be able to just pick them up off the shelf. But we will give you some places where you're able to get those phones, and also to take a look at the cell phones. So if we're using a phone like this, almost every hardwired phone like this has a dot on the number 5. And anybody who's done touch typing or has done any kind of adding machine work knows that you always have a home row. Putting your fingers on 4, 5, and 6 allow you to dial by just feeling above the 4 to get to the 1, above the 5 to get to the 2. Keep your middle finger on that 5, except if you're using it for the 2, the 8, or the 0, and you're going to be all set. You'll be able to dial just by feel. So you don't have to look, you don't have to bring it up close. Some people use their magnifier in their other hand. Some people find that really very kind of difficult to do, to dial with one hand, but you can do it without looking at all. So that would be one alternative that you can have. With the cell phones, you can also work either with or without a keypad. Diane, you got 10 o'clock. With or without a keypad. On a lot of smartphones, you can make them larger, you can make them darker, you can change the contrast or the background so that you can see those numbers more clearly. There are even cell phones, semi-smart cell phones nowadays, that have things built in with a keypad. And this is something new. Diane's going to tell us a little bit about this new phone.
So this is called the Blindshell Classic 2. And as you can see in here, it has actual real buttons on it. I equate this to like the way a calculator feels. It's got the hard buttons that you can feel. You can feel there's a big dot on the number 5 so that you can orient yourself. And it's all menu driven. There's no swiping or tapping like on a normal smartphone. So
call, messages.
it's all,
7.
I can even turn it up a little bit more.
Volume 10.
So it's all menu driven.
Contacts.
Just
3
with
applications.
these bars, you
4
can
of
go up
7.
and down through the menus.
Contacts. 3 of 7.
And you can do pretty much everything you can with a smartphone with the Blindshell. You can call, you can text, you can email, you can go on the internet, you can watch podcasts, you can go on YouTube. So it's, I really think it's a great phone. It's actually, I'd say it's 100% accessible with the hardware and also the software that will speak back to you.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
So it's great to have a technology expert next to me. So if we're using phones, that's an easy way. Some people may have seen that you can buy jumbo playing cards. Now, what's the difference between a jumbo playing card and a regular playing card? So on a jumbo playing card, you have much less clutter. When you look at the numbers on a jumbo playing card, you can see that the numbers are much larger in the corner. And instead of having two sets of numbers, there's just one set of figures here. Okay, and if I turn it over, it's just as large. And if I have 2 cards in my hand, it's pretty easy to see. Now, the nice thing about these large cards is a lot of times you can find these in your local stores. You don't have to do anything, go anyplace special to get them. But like I said, at the end, we will provide you with a couple of alternatives where you can get different kinds of playing cards. So if that's something you enjoy accessing, another kind of print that you might like to access. And you can buy large print bingo, large print Scrabble, even large print Monopoly. So again, depending on what you like to play with your kids or your family or whatever, it's nice to have that available to us. Just backtracking for one question to Margaret. Margaret, the name of the phone?
It's called the Blindshell Classic 2. There is a Blindshell original as well. Doesn't have all the same features, but you still can call, text. It's a simplified version of the Blindshell Classic 2, but it's also accessible.
I'll provide all the links to everything she talks about after the session. Okay?
Perfect. Now, one of the things that people used to have more problems with before COVID was signing their name to papers, and still it can be difficult. So what I'm going to show you here is called a signature guide. So the signature guide that I'm using comes from our low vision clinic. And what we can do is take this signature guide, and when I put it against a piece of paper, somebody says, sign here. And it doesn't matter whether here is on an electronic keypad. I used to say it's Sears, but now there's no more Sears.
No.
So I have to say Pennies or someplace else, right? Whether it's an electronic keypad or whether it is doctor's offices, whether it's legal papers that you go to the lawyer, have to sign your will, your tax papers at the end of the year. If you're not doing it on the computer, then having access to a signature guide can be very helpful. And the big cost of a signature guide is either free if you make it out of a piece of black cardboard yourself, or $1 and change if you order it from one of the catalogs. And it just makes it much, much easier to keep a straight line. With macular degeneration, lines sometimes go up and down and curvy all over the place, and they're not where you think they are. And it's very helpful to be able to say to somebody, you put this here where you want me to sign, and I will sign in the middle of the box. So my letters that are tall will go up, the middle letters that are down, like in Payne, I have a Y goes down, and I can sign in that box right there.
Should I show them some other guides?
Yeah, let's do that. I am going to take it from you and put white paper behind it so
Okay.
everything shows and you can talk.
So the next thing we're showing is a check writing guide that fits a standard check, and it has slots that you could use to feel where you put who the check is for, the amount, your signature. So that's just another check, another guide that would help you write checks. This is one to make lists or to write a letter. And that is, you could feel where each line is, so that if you wanted to write a letter or your shopping list, you can do that.
Yeah. How many times do you write a shopping list for your daughter or whatever, and you write the list out and they say, oh, I can't read it. So this makes it, make sure that those lines don't overlap one into the other. The other nice thing is if you want to write a card to somebody, if you're sending a birthday card or something like that, you can write, and then unlike lined paper, which has those lines on it, once you write it on this, you take the guide away, and then there's nothing to say that you used anything special to write it.
Yep. So this one is very handy. This is an envelope writing guide. And that fits your business size envelope so that you can write the return address and also where it's going to.
With a separated space for the zip code.
Yeah. And this is an example of this would be like a notepad that you could write a list on or whatever you want to write on it. And the lines are nice and big and bold.
And you can get this paper in a couple different sizes.
And then this is a notebook. Yeah.
And this is great. If you want to keep everything in one place, whether it's medical notes from your doctor or the shopping list from last week, you can keep track of it or tear the pages out because it's spiral bound.
And those are the guides we have.
So when we're writing,
Got a 2020.
I do. So I have a pen. There used to be a pen called the 2020, which everybody kind of loved because it doesn't bleed through. That company went on a business. They did sell the formula, and now it is available under a bunch of different names, but I'm just going to write the words low vision. And you can see it's nice and clear on this side. It doesn't stink and it doesn't bleed through to the other side. So that's the advantage of using the specialized low vision pens. When we want to make things bigger, what most people start off with is going to their low vision specialist and getting the absolute best magnification that they can get. Now, the first question is, the doctor puts on that funny piece of paper on the prescription, +2, +3, +4. Does that mean +2x or 3x? No. The meaning is plus for the diopters. And that plus allows you to bring that paper much, much closer than you normally would. And we talked about this a little bit on the last recording, that the distance between the lens, whether it's in a pair of glasses or in a handheld, and the paper you're reading from is a set distance, depending on the number of diopters, how strong it is. All right, this is a 16, I think. This is a 16 diopter magnifier. I wouldn't normally wear a 16 because my reading distance is going to be like this. I don't want to usually carry the paper right up to my nose and get all the newsprint on my nose. So if I use a handheld, I can hold it at a distance while keeping that close distance between the paper and the magnifier, but being able to move that to wherever it's comfortable for me to see. I can bring the whole thing a little bit closer or give it a little more distance, depending, again, on my comfort, by asking to work with a low vision specialist who can combine the amount of add you need in your glasses and the amount of add you need in your magnifier, in your handheld. So you can have a handheld magnifier, you can have a stand magnifier, you can even have wearable magnifiers. Now, when you start doing wearables, again, most of the time, you're keeping things closer than you are used to reading. And some people are comfortable with that, and some people not. We have a pair of glasses for looking at the television, which actually has those two lenses very close to each other. Diane has them. She's going to put them on and be beautiful.
Yeah, and the rule with magnification is that the stronger the magnifier, the smaller the lens. So everybody comes in and they're like, I want a giant magnifier lens so that I could read the entire paper at one time. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that because of what Sharon was saying with the diopters. So keep that in mind, that the stronger your magnifier is, the smaller it will be. So these are, you can use these to watch TV, and they have on either side, they have little wheels that you can turn to adjust them. Say one eye is a little bit better, or you need to play around with it to find out what the best distance is between the two lenses for you to be able to get the most use out of these kinds of glasses.
Right. They don't have a built-in amount of diopters for your eyes. There's no correction for astigmatism. So it's just going to give you a little bit of distance vision. They have those both for looking at things at a nearer distance and for looking at TV, which is called the Max TV. That's what Diane had on. What a lot of people like about the wearables is that you can see things if you're trying to play your bridge game or things that are on the table or doing some sort of work that you want your hands free. If you're trying to do some sewing or something like that, some things can be done without looking at them, but some things need to be looked at. Okay, there are some of the other things that we can make bigger. Okay, so here I have, and this is not the largest, but it's just one that I carry in the car with me. If you divide your medicines, all right, so you can see that this has each of the days in very large print.
Also tactile.
Yep, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. This one doesn't though. My other one in the car does. So this one has Sunday through Saturday, with each day having its own space. And then you can, leave it open once you've taken the pills from that section. And of course you can get them with more sections. You can, again, you don't have to buy anything. You can put a piece of tape on your own and figure out which days go with which medications and whatnot. So that's very helpful to people. So we talked about making things bigger. Some things you can make bigger on your own using reading glasses or something like that. Sometimes you can buy things. So this is a kitchen timer. And the nice thing about this timer is it's very light. It's very portable. It's a lot bigger than the ones that you normally find in the dollar store. So just an idea, I'm holding this up to my head. You can see it's almost as big as my head.
Is it battery operated?
And no,
Nope.
no,
Okay.
no batteries. It also has a long ring on it. Very long ring. Short ring. The nice thing about this, because it's light, you can take this with you. How many times do you go, you put some eggs up to boil, and then you walk in the bedroom to make the bed, because boiling eggs could take 12 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever you set it for, right? This is light enough, you take it with you and it'll ring for that long ring. It's not just a ding. So if the phone rings while you're in the other room, then you're not going to forget to turn off those eggs. That's really important. So anything that you have in the oven, you can do like this. You can also, do talking stuff. You've got your phone. You say, "Hey Siri, set an alarm for 20 minutes," and that works.
Sharon,
As well. Yep.
we have a question about the price of the TV glasses. Can you talk a little bit about the fact that there are the Eschenbach TV
Right.
glasses that are very expensive, but what about the ones that are less expensive?
So here I go back to the experts again. I'm going to say highly suggest that you see a not-for-profit low vision specialist before you buy anything. They're going to tell you whether or not those are good for you and let you try them on looking at a television in their office. Quite honestly, Eschenbach has been making these for a long time. Celsi made them a good quality opera glass for a long time, and it was really good for people, except that it was heavy. And the Eschenbach has come out with 100% plastic coating and cover, and it's really not heavy. Yeah, they're very light compared to the old Celsi. So I've been doing this for 35 years. 35 years ago, it was Celsi, and now it's Eschenbach. And I'm not going to really talk about the others. When you buy magnification, you get what you pay for. If you buy a knockoff, you're going to be miserable. So whether it's a handheld magnifier or whether it is a wearable device, if you go with the cheapest, you are not going to be happy. So that's my own personal, very biased, 35 years of experience attitude. The reason that I'm here in this for-profit shop right now showing you these things is because once you have a pair, you don't have to keep going back to the low vision specialist once you know what it is you need. If you've been using a 4X handheld magnifier and it's not quite enough to read the small print anymore, and you go to the store or a magnifier to a magazine and you buy a 5X of the same quality, you are going to be just as happy. But if you start getting the knockoffs, I make no promises. I just make no, there's a lot of garbage that comes out, and plastic, as it cools, can warp, right? We all know this from putting something we shouldn't have into the dishwasher. You put it on the dry cycle and it comes out warped. So why does Tupperware have the name Tupperware? Because for all these decades, Tupperware stuff even can go in the dishwasher and nothing happens to it. So those are made by Eschenbach. You're going to get the quality lens. It's not going to be distorted. Having distortion in your eyes is enough. Yeah. And for 2X magnification, it's probably not worth getting something distorted and melted and warped. It just doesn't make any sense.
What's the price of the Eschenbach TV?
They're about $200.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, so you're getting the advantage of trial in some place that has them. And if you don't like it, you're going to go pound on the table of a real place that's paying rent for a place. And if not, then you get them from a magazine, and you're not going to have the same luck when it comes to returning them, because they don't care if they impress you or not. There's always somebody else coming up behind you.
Thank you.
So going on to more things about accessing print. If you have a calculator that you find the numbers too small on, you can again learn to do it by touch. You can buy one that's much bigger. Again, I'm just comparing this to the size of my head. The keyboard's as big as my head. So the numbers are also bigger than my fingers. And again, with a handheld magnifier, or maybe even without, you might be able to see those numbers and keep your bank statements and maintain that independence. But if that's not big enough, going any bigger, it just makes it more difficult because now you're scanning all over this huge area. So if it doesn't work to go a little bit bigger, Diane has the answer.
So this is also very tactile buttons, and let's see if I can get, it was talking and it shut off. Hold on.
Quick look.
There we go.
5 minus 1 plus 2
So you can hear
5
that it will speak out every button
plus 2 5 8
that I press. So it's a good alternative
5 1 6
when you feel like you have to go bigger than something that you could, that's a large print, so then you can always go to speech.
Fantastic. Now, I love going to the dollar store for things that are appropriate and things that are, the quality is not something that we're worried about, like magnifiers. This is a die from just a game, I think it was Yahtzee. And this is the same die from the dollar store, which is 3 times as big, better contrast, better coloring. You can also buy dice that have the dots that stick out like Braille. And those are even easier to feel if you're doing it by touch. But even just the difference in print between the 5 on a regular die and the 5 on the large print die makes it a lot easier to see. They don't blur together. I can even see that they're blurred together here.
And here, a plug for the Blindshell. The Blindshell has a built-in calculator and a built-in dice roller.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about the dice roller.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And a step counter for people who can't access a Fitbit or something like that, 'cause you can't see it. Blindshell has a step counter.
okay. So we've talked a little bit about accessing. You can make things bigger by actually buying something that's in large print or by creating a writing guide. The same thing with medicine bottles. How do you tell your medicine bottles apart? So some people will just take the medicine bottle, and I'm just going to pretend that this is aspirin, and I might take my marker and make a large print A on the top of it. And I can do that with my spices, and I can do that with anything else. Again, I can label them in Braille. I can label them with large print with my marker. I can also use a pen friend, which is a talking device, and you can put the labels on whatever you want. They're reusable. So let's say I do aspirin every month. I could put a talking label on here. The pen friend would read it to me and say aspirin, you know, low dose 81 milligrams or whatever it is. Take 1 every day and call Dr. So-and-so for refills and the number of the prescription, whatever I wanted to put on that recording. And it could be this lid, then this lid, okay, can go from bottle to bottle to bottle as I refill it.
And I am so shameless, but the Blindshell has a built-in pen friend.
Plug. Okay, I didn't know that. Did I know
It
that?
does, yes, it does.
So how do you read?
You get the labels.
So you get the pen friend labels and it has the built. Oh, I like that.
Mhm,
That
yep.
just like lowered the price of that by a quarter.
Oh, I know. And it's
Yeah.
got a color ID too.
Okay, how accurate?
As good as any other app-based color ID.
Okay. there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I'm sorry, I got you off.
no, there's actually a question coming in, and how do you spell Eschenbach? And the lady has it right, except for one H, which I just added.
I
Alice,
can
there's
take
your
care
answer.
of those. Why don't you let me take care of those?
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
We can certainly do that. Yep. Okay, so we've talked about accessing small amounts of print. It might be a medicine bottle, it might be a die, playing cards, large print timers, okay, or even games. You can buy a lot of the books that we like to play, Sudoku, 3-in-1,
Word
Circle the Words,
searches,
yeah.
Mhm.
And those can be bought in, those are my coupons. Okay, they can be brought in larger print as well. Now, the question is, what if magnification isn't enough? So you always want to be using good lighting. As you might see, we've got a lot of light in this room, probably a little bit of glare for some people. But after the handheld magnifiers, where did my handheld go? There it is. Okay, so after the handheld or stand magnifier, what if these aren't enough? Because once you start talking about 20 diopters and more, you're talking about a very small amount of letters that can be seen at the same time. So we're looking through our magnifier and we can see 3 letters at a time. I don't know about you, but I think reading a book that way would be extremely frustrating. Reading a magazine that way could be extremely frustrating. So at that point, we can go to audio, and we can go electronic audio, or we can go recorded audio. So some of you may already be using the talking book player that comes from the Library for the Blind. The Library for the Blind is a national program. Your taxes are paying for it. Okay, good thing comes out of Texas. The Library of Congress sponsors many, many, many books being recorded by a live person as opposed to a computer voice. And those books are made available to people through their state Library for the Blind and print disabled. I changed it. Did you know I changed it again?
Yes,
They
yeah.
changed
Oh,
it
they
again.
changed it again.
Yes. Okay.
And those are, a lot of those books are professionally done. They're the same ones that people would either purchase at a bookstore or through Audible. They're professionally done with music and different voices, and they're very well done.
There we go. We can also go to Braille. So one of the ways that we can learn to read Braille is through Hadley. Hadley.edu, Hadley, has a lot of classes online on how to use the electronic equipment we'll be showing today, as well as classes in Braille. They will send you the books. They will send you what you need in order to learn. And sometimes 1 or 2 classes with a teacher to get you started with hand positioning and whatnot will help make it much, much easier for you to read. Now, I know a lot of people have questions about the other things that are available. So through Talking Books, you have the Library for the Blind, you have commercial audio books and audio programs, you have your local library, those books can also be accessed, and then Daisy Books and things like that. So there are specific players like the one that you can get from the Library for the Blind. You can use your own cell phone and download through BARD, which is the Braille and Recorded, help me out here with the D.
Dyslexic disability.
Yeah, something like that. So it's the Braille and Recorded Library.
I thought it was blind and reading disabled.
It might be. Okay. And so what you can do is you put the BARD app on your smartphone and you can then listen to the books that you want. So if you're sitting in the doctor's office, if you're sitting on a bus, if you're sitting in a cab, if you're flying on a plane, you can listen to your book because it's downloaded onto your device and you can put in your earbuds or put on your bone conduction headphones, which I much prefer as a mobility instructor, and be listening to your book any place that you would normally pick up your book, any kind of long ride or long waiting period. You pick up your book and it'll start right again where you left off. So that's very, very helpful to people. You can get your Bible on tape as well. There are quite a number, and I've sent this to Linda, there are quite a number of places that will get you either a Braille or a recorded Bible for people that want to be able to access that. You can buy a singular Bible on a cassette with headphones of its own. And some people like that because it has the ability to find the section that they want relatively quickly compared to some other recordings.
And then I have the Bard app on my phone, but I also have a standalone device called the Victor Stream.
I was just gonna get to that.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome. Go ahead.
Which I love my Victor Stream because I'm not one of these people who want everything on my cell phone. So my Victor Stream, it again has tactile buttons, kind of like the calculator feel, and I can download Bard books right from Bard with my Victor Stream. It's actually pretty easy. And then I can keep 20, 30 books on there and have them at the ready for whenever I want to listen to something.
So one of the things that people have been using for quite some time are called CCTVs, or closed circuit televisions, or now they call them video magnifiers. So you might have heard either of those titles. A CCTV is a pretty easy idea to understand, but people don't always think about it in advance of needing it. If you think of yourself going up to the teller in the bank, or if you've driven into a gas station and seen yourself on a television, that's a closed circuit system. Basically, it's not coming from the airwaves someplace far away, but it takes a picture of something in front of it and projects that image right up onto the TV screen. The advantage for us is that we can then take that picture of whatever page we're reading. We can make the print up to 60 times larger. So newsprint now becomes 3-inch letters. We can also have it read out loud to us if we have OCR on there, which I'm going to go into in a minute. With the video player, they used to be these huge, big machines because they used to have actual televisions or actual computers on the top of them where the picture came in. It was an actual TV. So when we had tube TVs, they were big machines. Now, most of them have gone to flat screen, just like your smartphones. And the interesting thing in the last little bit is you have things now like the Vision Buddy, which I'm going to hand to Diane because she knows a lot more about it than I do.
Okay, so the Vision Buddy is it's classified as a wearable. So you would put it on, and then it would allow you to read because it will take the image that you're looking at and put it right in front of your eye. So it'll allow you to read. It'll also allow you to watch TV. Same way, I'll take that image and put it right in front of your eye. The only thing about the wearables is you cannot walk around with them, and obviously you can't drive with them.
Okay. The idea is, just hang on to that for a second. So the idea is the last time that we were talking about distance magnification. Distance magnification makes the Washington Monument or the San Francisco Bridge, depending on where you're standing, look like it is a toy when you're just a mile away. But the closer you get, the bigger it appears. The more of an image, the larger the image is on your retina, the bigger it appears. So when we can bring the image of the TV up to 2 inches, and most of the time you're not going to do this, especially if you're watching TV with somebody else. So this way you can bring the image of the print or the image of the television or the image of the computer, whatever, even a ball game, anything, excuse me, any place that you are, you can bring that image up close, making that image very large on your retina and therefore needing a lot less magnification to be supplied by the video magnifier. Another one of the video magnifiers that you can actually wear is the Oxite.
Yep, this is called the Onyx, and you could wear this 2 ways. You could wear it as a pair of glasses, so it would go like this, and the arms would go behind your ears. Or you could take the arms off and just use it, hold it up like a binocular. And again, this is the same thing, that it'll allow you to see print. And this magnifies 8 times. So it's pretty good for people with macular degeneration. That seems to be our best population that can use the Onyx. It has tactile buttons on the top, so you don't even need to take it down to be able to zoom in, zoom out. And it's fairly new. We've only had it for maybe 3 months, and we've had some positive feedback about it.
And one more we'd like to show.
And this is the Zoomax.
So
This is the Zoomax, which also is a wearable. Like this. Okay. And the Zoomax, this is a very difficult one for me to get on for some reason. It works the same way. It will also be used for print or for distance. And again, neither of them can be used for walking around or for driving. So there are 3 different options that people could try. And again, I don't recommend just ordering them off of a catalog or offline until you try them, because they work differently for people with different eye conditions and different levels of sight. So what might work good for your friend may or may not work good for you. So it's best if you try them out at a low vision specialist.
there we go. All right, so now the CCTVs are also available in handheld carryable devices that you can take with you to the grocery store. Again, these you can't walk around with, so you'd be putting them on, taking them off, or lifting them up all of the time. The handhelds, like the Ruby and the Pebble, and you carry one here as well?
I'm not sure which one we carry. I think we carry one by Zoomax, actually. Another
Okay.
Zoomax
And the
product.
Eschenbach one is
Yeah,
also
and the
too.
Epson.
Yeah, so those, let me get the box for me. Just a second over here. Yes. And they're out like here too. Okay. So actually, the store's got even more different brands since I was here the last time. This is the Ruby. This is one of the oldest ones around. It is going to last you forever. Yeah. And it has a pretty good picture. You can change the color, you can change the size, things like that.
So you can make it show things black on white or white on black, and also in color. If there's a picture that you want to look at, there's like a true picture mode.
Right, so you can see that on the side of the box right there. Also, when you're looking at colored maps and things like that, and this one's not in the box, so we have to find it. Okay, but the idea is that with any of those, you're taking electronic magnification. So instead of having a smaller and smaller and smaller field due to the limitations of optics, you now have electronics doing the magnification, and even in a very small screen, you can do a 12x magnification. If you have a 12x handheld magnifier, the entire, yes, the entire screen is going to be just slightly
Like the size of a
larger.
quarter.
Yes,
It's
just
really
slightly
tiny.
larger than if you made a fist.
Yeah,
All right.
and it's the inside of the fist is what we're talking about.
Exactly. So I'm just making like a tunnel with my
Yeah.
hand, and you may or may not be able to see that up against my sweater here, but it's a very small field. But you can get that same 12x or more magnification pretty easily with electronic magnification. And again, is it better to get the Ruby or the Eschenbach or the Zoomax? Go in and try them, please. Right? There's nobody else who can make those decisions on the amount of lighting and the amount of magnification and which combination of colors. Do you like blue on yellow, yellow on blue, black on white, white on black, a grayscale? What do you like the best? Nobody's going to be able to tell as well as you yourself.
And also many of the portable electronic video magnifiers also have speech. So if your eyes get tired, you can always switch to speech.
Yep. And that's the great segue. Thank you. Okay, so OCR technology, optical character recognition. Computers now can recognize characters, and they've actually been able to do that about 35 years, just about as long as I've been in the field. Roy Kurzweil created some of the very first technology for having a computer recognize what letter is on the paper and then be able to read it out loud. As you can imagine, with words like neighbor and way, it's much more accurate at this time than it was 30 years ago, because there are just so many different combinations. Computers can handle those a lot faster. Many of the wearables that Diane just showed you can do OCR. That is, that if it's something print in front of you, then it will read it out loud to you. And that's another very good combination. But what combination of print, large print, or OCR technology is going to work best for you is not known to us. So the original OCR technology, like all computers of its time, was as big as an office copier.
Yeah.
Remember those, right?
Yeah.
So it was as big as an office copier. It had to be scanned. It had smaller and smaller and smaller, and the technology has been copied by other companies.
Is anybody else having a delay in their audio and video? My screen just froze.
Is accessible to you on your smartphone. Okay?
Another app that's free is
Sorry to interrupt, but I am having a real problem with the audio and the video, and so are our viewers. I'm not sure what to do about it.
What's happening, Linda?
The video and the audio are freezing. I lost
Well,
a lot
it
of
doesn't
what.
show that here.
Yeah.
It doesn't show us that here.
Oh, it says that your bandwidth is low. I don't know.
My bandwidth is low.
That's what
Okay.
it's telling me. I don't know what you can do about it. We'll just forge onward, I guess.
do you want me to go get Stephen and ask him?
Yeah, we're
Just- you
getting.
can ask me if he's looking at a movie or a video or
Okay.
something, because that would be what would lower our bandwidth.
Yeah.
And here's
Okay.
suddenly something new.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems to
So we're
be.
gonna just double check with the other person who's in the office
Okay.
right now and see if he's looking at
Yeah.
something. I do apologize
Well,
for that. It's not showing here.
That's not a big deal. The last, let's see, what was the last? We talked about the OCR, the wearables.
Right. So then we're talking about now the taking of that same OCR technology and changing it into apps. So one of the most used one that we have right now, okay, moved around here, is called Seeing AI. And it's spelled just like it sounds, SEEING AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, and Diane was saying that you can read barcodes. It can identify people, not who they are, but if it's a person or what the scene is in front of you. There's a color identifier, a money identifier, and a barcode identifier. That's on Seeing AI, and it is a free app for your smartphone. Tap Tap See was our original, and with Tap Tap See, that was the first one that actually described things to us. In other words, there is a lady wearing glasses and a black shirt sitting in front of you. And I'm describing Linda, of course. And so, yeah, if you're wondering why it's not blue, that's you, Linda. That's how it looks to me. So it might describe my computer if I'm facing my computer, or the garden in front of me, or the flowers that I'm looking at. And so TapTapSee was one of the originals. A lot of people are using Seeing AI at this point. So we've talked about combining large print with OCR. One of the really, really new and exciting pieces of technology that's come out is called the OrCam. So people were asking us about the OrCam, and I wanted to share this with you. I find it very exciting, but not always for everybody worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So similar, but not the same technology is available in Seeing AI for free or in the KNFB reader for $50 to $100. The difference is the OrCam is not a separate piece that has to be held in your hand. You can put it on your glasses, mount it on either your glasses or dollar store frame glasses.
It comes with glasses, dummy glasses in the box.
But you can put it on any pair
Yeah,
of glasses
you
that look
Yeah.
good on your face.
Yeah. And I always say it's the size of a Bic lighter, if that helps.
That's a good combo. So the OrCam, which I have mounted on the side of this pair of glasses right here. I'm not going to make it go through its whole thing of hoops. The thing that makes the OrCam different than using an app is that it doesn't have to be held separately in your hand. If you want to read a magazine article, you pick up the article and you look at it, and the OrCam is going to read it hands-free. You're not also holding a magnifier and whatever your reading material is. The other thing that the OrCam does that most of the other devices are not going to do as well is it'll read it at a distance. So for college students, for people that want to be able to read if they go to, do we go to conferences anymore? It's a conference, right? If you go to conferences, if you go someplace where there's a lot of, and you want to be able to pick up something and read it right then and there. If you want to be able to see a sign at a distance, whether it's at an airport or whether you are, all of the signs then become accessible to you. And it also does things like color identification. It has, in some of the higher level readers, the ability to remember people. Now it says identify. So when it identifies the person who is in a similar position when you took their original picture. You have to take a picture of the person and say their name. And then every time it comes in front, instead of saying a person in front of you or a man in front of you, okay, it will say Linda Moore in front of you or Sharon in front of you. But you have to memorize that person first. It can save about 100 different products. So if you're in the store, it can save about 100 of your favorite products. So when you scan down the shelf, box, Cheerios, right? So you know when you get to the information that you are specifically looking for. And that's really very, very helpful to people that want to be able to do that. And again, it's hands-free, so you can find things that are still on the shelf. You don't have to keep pulling everything down to bring it up close to your magnifier device to be able to see it. So some of the CCTVs, some of the video magnifiers have OCR technology built in. So you might want to sit back and close your eyes and listen to what it's reading to you until it gets to something important, let's say a number or something like that. And then you would be able to open your eyes and look at an expanded view with good contrast and good lighting, what you wanted to be able to find out. So we've talked a little bit about recordings. We've talked a little bit about Braille. We've talked a little bit about OCR. We've talked a little bit about magnification with optics and magnification with electronic devices and just getting things that are bigger, whether they're devices or writing things bigger on our meds or our spices or things like that. We've talked about the different, some of the different apps that are available to do some of these same things. Now, the thing that I didn't show you, because I have to take this whole thing and move it, and I'm hoping we're not going to get unstable at this point, are the CCTVs or video magnifiers that sit on a desk or a table and allows you to read an entire page of a book, or I'm going to try to turn one of these on, see if we can get a picture of a picture, and allows you to read a page of your magazine, your bank statement, or whatever else you want to be able to read. I'm not getting this one to go on here. So, 1 second. Steve said these were plugged in, right?
I believe so.
Okay, I think we might have lost something here. But the idea is that with these desktop, yes, with
I was
these
just going to
desktop
say-
magnifying devices,
We're having some
Linda?
problems. Yeah, we're having some problems again, and we hit the 4 o'clock mark. I don't want to lose anybody. Can we open it to questions?
we certainly can. I just want to show this last device. So this
Okay,
is a video magnifier that sits on the table, and it allows you to put your book or your reading material underneath, your newspaper, your magazines, your bank statements, and be able to see everything expanded on the screen, again, up to 60 times, which can be very helpful with magnification, or if you need to, adding the audio component that it'll read to you. So we've talked about a whole bunch of different ways of accessing that. And then Diane and I are here to answer any questions that you have. Hopefully between the two of us, we'll have most of the answers.
I just want to say that it's so obvious to me that the best way to deal with all these options and seeing these options is amazing. Thank you so much. Our members know that they're out there, but how do you figure what's right to you? You go to somebody like Diane and Sharon, low vision specialists, and they help you. You tell them what you want to do, what you can't do, and they match what they have available. You know, look at their bag of tricks. My goodness, so many options. So I just wanted to say that.
That's why we want people to start, right. We want people to start with a low vision optometrist first, because if you do it hands-free with just magnification and or prism in your glasses and a good lamp beside, you're going to be all set at this particular point. And then if that doesn't work, we're going to go to the other changes.
Okay. Margaret asks, if one has serious central vision problems, how does magnification help?
That's a great question. Thank you, Margaret. So the idea is that when you have a field of vision, if you have something that is in the center of it, like a macula that's not working, a macular degeneration, then if we can move that blind spot a little to the side, right? You may have heard about using your eccentric vision, your vision out here to the side of that blind spot. Then the problem is that your vision on the side of your macula is never going to be as clear as in your macula. In your macula, you can think of it like all the lines in your hand where they all come together in one spot. That's your macula. You have thousands and thousands more sensors in your macula than you do in the surrounding area. So how would I touch this line and this line and this line spread apart on my hand? I would have to make it a lot bigger. So what I can cover with one finger, that spot where all the lines come together here in the macula, I can cover that with one fingertip. But as I go out away from my macula, these lines come down, and in order to touch the same number of lines or sensors in your eye, I have to make it bigger. I have to get magnification.
Also,
By the way, you can all unmute yourself and you can come on video if you want. Okay, go ahead, Diane.
so I was going to, with the wearables, that's part of the magic of the wearables, that through artificial intelligence, they can actually use your peripheral vision and then have that image that's you're seeing through your peripheral vision show up in your central. That's the magic of the AR with the wearables.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll read this one. Marilyn, why don't
Next
you,
question.
Marilyn, why don't you come on audio and say that? Marilyn? Okay. Marilyn says, my dad was in his 90s and was sent to a low vision specialist. He wouldn't use any of the devices suggested. Oh, poor dad. He's gone now, but how would you suggest to a person resistant to using devices that they are beneficial? Good question.
So
Go ahead.
first of all, we can never make our parents do anything. That's sorry about that. So that's just the reality. We can't make our parents do anything. What we do when we do our intakes, again, going to a nonprofit, is we're going to say, right, what is it that you miss doing? What is it that you can't do? And how do we get you there? So some of it is
Individual motivation.
it's all of it.
Yeah.
It's individual motivation for sure. But sometimes you need some counseling. Sometimes you need some other kinds of supports. And since a lot of the nonprofit clinics are associated with, whether it's in my hometown of Cleveland Sight Center, whether it's in the Carroll Center or Perkins, wherever it might be, whether it's Miami, which we started our own low vision, but we also worked hand in hand with Bascom Palmer. Wherever you might be, if you're going to that nonprofit, they're going to have additional services available. It might be counseling, it might be orientation and mobility. You're asking the person, what is it that you miss, right? I'm depressed because I can't, right? Because my daughter took over my checking account. I want to do that myself. Well, if you show a person how to do their own checking account again, right, then that person can take control back for themselves. What is it that you miss seeing? And what device are we going to use to help you to re-access that which is difficult?
And you may want to start with a low tech device, first of all, so that they're not feeling overwhelmed or intimidated by it. So if you start with maybe a signature guide or a writing guide, or, you know, something that's a low tech item, get them familiar with that. They may be more susceptible to what else is out there. But, you know, it's not just 90-year-old fathers. I was a visually impaired kid and I didn't want any part of any of this stuff either. So you get tired. Basically, I said, you get tired of kicking yourself in the butt. And why should I spend 3 hours struggling when if I just use this device, it would take me 15 minutes.
There you go. Great.
I
point.
apologize. People are having trouble unmuting and whatever, but John asked, to be clear, the wearables would be advantageous for macular problems as well as other vision impairments. Oh, yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
again,
It depends.
it
Yeah.
depends.
Well, it
right.
depends. Yeah.
Yes, it really depends
Try
on the
it
person's situation, because we don't know what secondary problems you might have, whether you have a detached retina as well or cataracts as well, or if it's 90-year-old, whether they're just going to, you know, turn off that, being turned off by that high-tech portion of it, or looking different, or having to be different. And,
But you can say that you have people with macular degeneration who are benefiting from those.
Yes.
from the whether it's a handheld Ruby that they can take to the store, okay, whether it's a handheld electronic device, whether it is a desktop, because that's a person who sits and does a lot of work at their desk, or whether it is a wearable device so that they're more comfortable doing things at that particular distance.
We've had people who are using the wearables with golfing. That seems to be a big thing now.
Yeah, but you'd have to take it off to walk.
Purple are nice.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Well, a
you would
lot of
have-
them though, a lot of them flip up,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
you don't have to take off and put on the whole device, but you have to take it off of your eyes.
Yeah.
But you can flip it so that you're just wearing one part of it, and the magnification isn't there when you're walking.
the Onyx, yes, she did say golfing.
Yes, I did say golfing.
One of the benefits of the Onyx is that you can actually, I think other devices are adding a lanyard to them, aren't they? So that you can take it off and on.
Yes.
So the Onyx had the you can take the arms or legs or whatever you call them off and hang it around your neck. Yeah.
Yes.
There's I'm going to put it in front of the camera. I don't think it's a really good background for seeing it, but there it is. Yeah, there's the lanyard right here.
And John posted a big emoji smiling. He must be a golfer. He must be a golfer. Yep. Okay, other questions. I did ask everybody to unmute. I did all the things I thought I could do, but you have a question, you can type. And I will be giving you links to all these because Sharon gave me a wonderful list. Somebody unmuted? I hear somebody.
Most people are unmuted. It's not going to anybody's face right now.
Yeah, well, see, I did ask everybody to unmute, so.
There might just be somebody in the background.
Okay, anybody else?
Okay, an hour and 11, an hour and 5.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This was awesome. And I know what's going to happen. People are going to watch it again and again. And I know that because I'm putting them on YouTube now and I can see how many people are watching them.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and
So I do want to do one quick plug. Since the Low Vision Shop, which is where I'm sitting right now, since the Low Vision Shop has been nice enough to let us make a total mess, sharing all of their devices and getting to see everything. I'm going to do a 2-second plug here. Again, this is a for-profit store. I don't make anything from them, but they are being very kind to us at the lowvisionshop.com. We want to give them a great big thank you for letting us make a mess of all their devices and get to show everything in a very short period of time.
yes, thank you. Joan Bywater, did you have a question you unmuted for?
Am I unmuted or not, Linda?
Yes, you are
Oh.
now. Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. No, I was just going to comment then. It's not a good idea to just go out and buy something, but
No.
really to go and see somebody first.
Now,
Absolutely.
Compare it to a pair of shoes. You know, anybody can go in and buy a pair of size 8 shoes and give them to you, and how comfortable are they going to be? Or do you want to
Exactly.
go into the store and try on the different styles and see what fits your specific needs best? And you might want something with heels and real fancy for the wedding, and you might want a pair of golf shoes with cleats to go do your golfing, but don't wear the high heels on the golf course. They won't like you.
Exactly. Thanks.
Aina, I hope I pronounced that properly. Do you have a question?
No, I don't, but in the UK, I'm finding, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
I'm finding it absolutely fascinating. I get no help here. I have no idea about low vision stores. I've just listened and I find it wonderful.
Well,
Well,
find
Ina,
the
let me-
Macular Society and the RNIB in the UK are both wonderful organizations.
You know,
Yeah, I
where,
joined the Macular Society, which is in fact situated in my hometown.
which is,
I haven't
which
got much from them at all. I don't know anything. They just ask me for money all the time. That's all they
Ina,
want.
where are you located?
Sorry,
Which city, where are you located?
near Andover.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Near Andover. It's
Andover.
North Hampshire, north of Southampton.
Okay, so you're closest to London. There, RNIB actually has a
70 miles, 65, 70 miles from London.
I know, but there's trains everywhere in England. So my favorite low vision shop in England is probably the one in York, right by the train station. They are probably bit of a ride from where you're at. No, I know they're a bit of a ride from you. Right?
Where are you saying that is? Sorry, I don't hear well.
But there's
York.
there's a center in New York, and I will send that information to Linda to post as well. But the York Low Vision Center is wonderful, and you can get on their email.
York. Y-O-R-K, York.
York.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow, yeah. Now that's a long distance.
Yes,
They have other
but they have
shops.
everything, right? Everything now is online as far as their support groups and their presentations. They're online like this, so you can just as easily access their information as you can. And also in Manchester, you have Henshaw's. So you've got two.
Henshaw's, yes.
Which is in Manchester.
And
Again,
you also have Dave Steele, the blind poet,
you also have Dave Steele, the blind poet who lives in Manchester.
who lives in Manchester, who
Right.
does a
weekly.
Zoom meeting like this every Wednesday.
I don't know anything. I see.
Well, I'll
we
get
will-
that
we will get you
information
some
to
more
you.
information.
Thank you very much.
Dave has actually written 3 books of poetry and a children's book. The books are called Stand By Me RP, because retinitis pigmentosa is his particular eye condition. But when he talks about how difficult it is to lose vision and independence, and then how he went about regaining them, I think a lot of people can relate.
I think I
both
probably
the loss.
could, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
Dave
I will
Steele,
get you that information.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
he's
Lena.
wonderful. You can reach out to him, go on Facebook, or find his contact information. He'll respond.
You're lovely people. You're all lovely, but I am one of these dinosaurs. I'm in my 80s. I don't use this is my new gadget, my computer, and I can see you on it. And I didn't know what button I was pressing or anything. I don't use a mobile phone. I don't know how to do anything. I'm carer for my husband, so I've got a lot on my plate. And I'm just trying to think of the future because my vision is going about what I might need, what I might be able to do. So it's all quite new.
We'll
thank
help you. We will help you.
I'll be over in August. I'll come visit. We'll talk about it.
I also have to, here's a question from John. Do you typically need a referral from a retinal specialist for low vision stores? And does the insurance typically cover any of the products? Keep shaking your head no.
No,
You do not need a referral for stores, certainly. And you don't need a referral to see most low vision specialists. What does help them, of course, is if they get an eye report from your doctor, then they have a little more information to start with, as far as your history and the cataracts removed 20 years ago that you forgot about and all those kinds of things. Stores, you don't need any information.
The question was about insurance covering these high-tech products.
We're here in the United States. We are working on getting Medicare to cover. Once Medicare will cover it, most of the other insurances will. Right now, in some states, Medicaid will help you. If you're low income, Medicaid sometimes will reimburse part of that amount. And
also, if you're a VA, you're a veteran.
Right.
Somebody on there from Blighty.
Yeah.
Somebody on there from Blighty.
Really?
Don't know anything about any of this.
I'm absolutely hopeless. I go to see my specialist every month or so, but they're not very helpful.
I'm
They're not
sorry
helpful.
about
My
that.
vision's gone in one eye, and the other one I've got a cataract, and it's all getting worse.
Well,
So I
we
want
will
to know
help
what is
you.
available.
Yeah.
So-
Let's see. Joan, did you have
so let
another
me just
question?
finish. Yeah, Linda, let me just
sorry.
finish.
Wait, go ahead,
No,
Joan.
nothing else. Thank you. That was very good. I'm going to have to leave pretty soon now, Linda. Thanks so much.
Well,
Go ahead,
thank you to
Sharon.
all of you. I think
Sharon, go.
I only came across it by chance, and thank you. I'm very pleased to have heard new things, so it's good. So thanks.
Nice to talk to you. So Medicare doesn't cover most of the aids right now. Medicaid sometimes does. School districts sometimes will. Lions Club sometimes will help you. And some of the private insurances like Aetna and what's the other big one? Humana have their own low vision specialists. I make no promises about how good they are, but there is some coverage through some of the private insurance companies here in the United States. Again, in England, the best thing to do is to go through RNIB.
There's
Yeah,
also
okay, well,
some
I've
of-
only just got in touch with them. I was in fact using the Macular Society before, and they seemed to be going through a whole load of problems, and they were changing staff, so they never got back to me.
yeah.
That's all. Anyway, thank you so much. I will depart.
welcome.
So you can.
Okay, take care. Aina.
The other thing about the low vision products, the high tech ones, some of the companies have payment plans, so you can pay by the month.
Yes. yes.
When I've had no suggestion at all, I'm just thinking that probably the products you've mentioned are in the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars,
Yes.
pounds or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've just thought of them as interesting rather than anything else, and as affordable possibilities.
Right. So there are sometimes, again, like at the low vision shop in York, I know that they do take used equipment and sell it at a discounted price. RNIB sometimes will help, and you do have a library for the blind in England that
Yes,
offers
I know we
recorded
do have that.
library.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
And I
yeah,
used to
that's
read
good
for the
stuff.
blind on the local newspaper too,
Oh,
so I
that's
know we do that
wonderful,
one.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
do radio reading service, which is the other thing.
Anyway, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
whomsoever, and good night. I don't know what time you are, but good night from me.
Good night. Good night.
Yes,
You're,
it's 9:20 in England right now,
yeah, you're
so have a
9:20.
good
Yeah.
night, Ina.
It's 9 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Anybody else?
I'm the last time. Oh my goodness.
No,
Yes,
no.
I
We
have
other
one.
people.
I have a question.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
that's what I'll say
Margaret.
then.
Margaret.
Um,
Clocks, a clock.
Just what? It's quick, I hope. You didn't mention clocks. And I was wondering if you could just briefly summarize things. I
Okay.
also have a hearing problem, so that sometimes.
Okay, well, I will say it once and you can listen to it on the recording if you miss anything. Clocks and timers, you have the large print clocks, and you can change, again, depending on the company, they have different colored backgrounds, green backgrounds and red backgrounds and black backgrounds with red or gray. You have lots and lots of talking clocks, and most people have phones that will tell them what time it is just by asking, what time is it? They can also set a timer.
And I have a talking watch because I'm an old school person.
There you go. So talking watches, talking clocks, talking timers are all available. So you have large print, you have braille, and you have talking, and they're all available. If you look on either independentliving.com, that's independentliving.com. It's a for-profit company, but lamps and lamps and clocks and timers and games are available for independentliving.com or maxiaids.com.
Maxi.
Yeah, Maxi, MAXIAIDS.com or independentliving.com, and both of those companies have things available. You can also check the lowvisionshop.com, where we're sitting right now, and see if
Thank
they
you.
have anything available that would help you, and check your phone, which has all kinds of stuff built into it nowadays.
Thank you. I know we're trying to close up, so.
Yeah.
No, we're still here.
May I ask a personal question, please, which is nothing, well, it's very little to do with these appliances. How far has your vision gone? You seem quite normal. I feel very abnormal. Mine is going quite rapidly, and I feel as if I'm living in a very abnormal world. Have you three ladies got problems, or are you very ordinary? Because you seem as if you're all seeing, doing, and dancing and everything else.
So I'm gonna
Ah,
let.
I've asked you the wrong question. If I do, tell me to go away.
She's talking to you, the
Oh.
speakers.
Oh, well, Sharon is sighted, and I have been visually impaired my entire life. So I was kind of forced into it at a young age, and but I was always legally blind. And then probably when I hit my late 40s, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And yeah, you just kind of
Adapt.
it's
You
different.
survived, don't you? Yeah. How about you, Linda?
Yeah.
You're okay, aren't you?
No, I'm okay. I'm sighted. Yes. My father had geographic atrophy seriously, and so I have a higher risk factor. However, I'm not gonna get it. But Ina, if you look at some of our other videos, and I'll put the link to that, you'll find
Please
that
do.
there's a wonderful gentleman, Simon Mahoney, who I have adopted. He is in the UK somewhere. Anyway, he says he's blind as a stone. He lives independently. He has a cooking book.
Oh, yeah, please,
yes.
please, please, no more, just send him to me.
Okay, I will, I promise. But Simon's done, let's see, I think 3 videos now. He's doing a session every month. He's wonderful. His problem was glaucoma and problems with some procedures afterwards. So it wasn't macular degeneration. He allows us to use him as the worst case scenario.
Fantastic. No,
the thing that
I've never
people
met
fear.
anybody, apart from my father who had AMD, I've not met anybody else with it, and they're not helpful in the hospital I go to.
Well, you are in a good group then. Did you just recently join?
No, I've been there for ages, but I didn't,
Well-
because I don't know anything about mobiles or anything like that. I don't know how to press buttons and where to go.
No,
I
you
just
don't.
got into this thing by chance. You were
Okay.
there.
Well, what you need to do is you need to go to our Facebook group every day and read the posts. You know, have you
And the
done that
guides.
at all?
And
Huh?
the guides.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have guides. I have 46 guides that I put everything I could possibly put.
Are you something Chernock more, something like that?
Yes, that's my.
Well, I've seen
yeah,
that name. Yeah. Okay.
That's me. That's
Yeah.
me.
Hello.
Hello. So what I would recommend you do is to go into the group, starting tomorrow, and start to read some of the posts from our wonderful people, and they'll tell you about their journeys, and you'll
Yeah,
find that. So
And
My
you know what?
main problem is it hurts me to look at the screen. My eyes are now running copiously.
It,
I've been
and
looking
it's
at it for an
perfectly
hour.
normal. It's perfectly normal to feel abnormal.
Yay, well
Yay,
said.
that's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much to everybody. It's
So,
been
Ina,
great.
before you go, on your computer,
Yeah.
if you push the button that's marked Control, CNTRL at the bottom there, okay, and your plus sign up at the top next to your delete button, if you push those 2 buttons and keep pushing the plus, the print on your computer will keep getting bigger.
What, Control and Delete?
No, Control and plus.
Yeah, Control and
Control
plus.
and
Plus
Plus.
next to the delete.
Flush. I can't
Plus,
see the plus.
P-L-U-S. Plus.
Oh,
like
that's
your-
a higher one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So it's next to your delete button usually.
It says 200% now, but it
There
doesn't.
you
do
go. Now
anything.
it's twice as big. So keep going. You can make
Well,
it bigger.
It's
your
the same
eyes won't
size, but
water
it tells me 200%. Oh,
Well, the screen, it won't enlarge the screen. It'll enlarge the text.
it should. I know.
Yeah. So I hear her typing furiously
Yeah.
and pounding. She's
Yeah,
pounding. the
bashing
plus.
it. Yeah, hitting it.
Well, look
Yeah.
at
Wait
it.
till you get to
Yeah.
you get to the guides or the emails or something.
That should be tomorrow, not tonight. I'm going to bed.
No, no, no.
Okay,
When you're,
thank you very much.
that's right. When you're on Facebook, you use the plus to go up and the control
Oh, I see for
minus to
Facebook
go
itself.
down. Pardon me? Yeah,
I don't
that's
know how people
Facebook.
understand any of these machines. I
One
really
piece, hey, one piece at a time. I'll get you hooked up with Simon. Simon he calls himself a Luddite. So
Oh, please. I
Yes,
hope
I
he lives
will.
near
I
me. He
will.
might live in the next village. I don't know.
Not sure. Okay.
Well,
Well,
you said he's
listen.
middle of nowhere and you didn't.
No, it's
Somewhere.
okay.
I think
Anybody else
Margaret-
before we let these ladies go on with their lives?
Yeah, I think Margaret had another question.
Yeah, Margaret? Or was that Marilyn?
The only thing I wanted to mention is that there are so many ways that people are viewing things right now. Phones, tablets, iPhones, Androids, that there's sometimes a real difference on what you do for what device. So
Yep.
you have to really Google how to make things bigger on a Samsung 6 phone or that kind of thing, because otherwise you get yourself in a muddle. I mean, you might be right, Linda, that it's Control Plus. It is on my desktop, but I'm not sure what it would be on my Samsung stuff.
Yeah, it's not. And that's what Sharon was telling her, that it was on the laptop. So yeah,
Yeah.
but you're right. And it drives me crazy because I'm supposed to be giving instructions to people, Now, if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, do this. We just do the best that we can. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's appreciated. Thank you. Just to meet somebody who seems to understand a bit of what I might go through. I'm seeing very well with one eye yet, but they're saying that, you know, it won't last long. Give it another
No.
few weeks and you've had it. Ah.
Tomorrow you start to look at some of the posts, and if you have any questions, you just make a post, and if you don't know how to do that, send me a message and I'll help you.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for
Okay.
this thing tonight. That's marvelous. So
Good.
good. And I better leave you because you want to go away too. I don't know what time you are. You've probably got a meal to eat. So bye-bye and thank you.
Bye.
Oh,
Well,
it's gone.
Now, is that it? Anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody else? We have a lot of, we do have a lot of people who are saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, much appreciated. And I certainly add to that.
Next
So,
time we'll do games.
games, yes, a game night. That sounds good.
Games and other hobbies. So
Okay.
thank you, everybody who came. That was
Thank
really
you.
great, and to see
Yes,
people
thank
here
I
Thank
think
after an hour.
don't be concerned about the relatively low turnout. People are depending on them being recorded, and they can sit back and watch them when they want to. So
Exactly.
And I'll-
Without glitches.
yes, and I will tell you how many people watch your videos. So
Wonderful.
okay. All right. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.